It's about to go down.
You are listening to WPRD 98.3 gcomradio, powered by Lyfeblood.com and hosted by
You are listening to the incredible
Nova Phoenix and LK Mason.
What's going on, yo? This is Nova Phoenix, and you are listening to WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio, and we're here for the 18th episode. It is the end of the year. Now, much love to LK Mason. She's usually here with me, but she's just been caught up with some things with her book, Zane of the Brave, and other things like her website and you know, merchandising. So she couldn't make the show, but this is in loving spirit for her in her absence. So I'll just take over the show and just go through some things with you guys as far as Lyfeblood is concerned, Music Life, all these things, and how things have been going for 2018. So anyway, we're here for the end of the year, and usually we talk about, you know, entertainment, celebrities, or whatever kind of current events is happening with people. But you know, it's the end of the year, and I always go through this thing about self-reflection. What have I accomplished? What I look forward to. So, you know, this is what it's going to be about. It's not all going to be fun and games and laughing all the things. So at times you do just have to level things out for yourself and just do a little, you know, soul searching, especially when one full soul year is almost up. So as you already know, Music Life feature that we've been going through for artists, it's been inspired by a lot of different outside things. Listen to the radio, reading articles, and Music Life, because I was an artist myself when I was much younger. I felt that artists have never really gotten what they deserve as far as their music. So I created Music Life, and Music Life is simply a feature that we have that is an extension of Lyfeblood and dollarpower that is for artists in particular, where if you have music, whatever media that you like to share with your fans, whether it's pictures, video, music, you can upload it to your profile and then share it with your fans by them giving you a certain amount for the month. So as soon as they give you like $3, if you set it at $3, they will have access to whatever you want to share with them, and it's available to them. I think it's a lot better model than what we did with music streaming right now. If you've been listening to the show, if you know what I've been talking about, I've never been a big fan of music streaming. I always felt that they never really adequately paid artists for what they do. And I can't remember the numbers off that, but it's a fraction of a cent that they were paid per stream. It's funny, recently I was scrolling through my IG, I saw that there were some artists that were putting up numbers. I guess Spotify gives them this picture, whatever, to as a promotional picture to share with their fans and say how much they stream for the year. And it was a couple of them that I saw, and I've been noticing it. I saw one, I saw two, I saw three. I was like, what's going on there? I started paying attention, and it was really, as I said, they were giving these promo pictures of a million streams, how many countries they're being streamed from, and yada 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 yada, saying thanks for the year, you know, whatever. So it was Selena Johnson, it was Rock, and it was Chris Brown. Now, you know, it's great in all that they're sharing it, but as far as from a financial gain point of view, or as far as what they're making from their music, I don't think it's really great. If you could see in previous episodes, they did 1 million streams. And if you do like a little research and a little mathematics, you know, by what Spotify gives per stream, 1 million doesn't go a very long way. And I put it up on our IG, all Selena and Rock would be a couple $100. I think it was for 1 million. It was like $600. Of course, Selena did 2 million streams, 1 million more than Rock, and that would be double that, $1,200. Do you think that it's fair for artists to get? Of course not. And then you have Chris Brown that did, I think, 2 billion streams, and that's pretty good. Of course, he's an A-lister, and he's an exception to the rule. What did he would get? I say about 1 million or whatever per year. Not bad, but he can make a whole lot more. And that's why I introduced Music Life. I was like, you know what? Just get paid on a monthly level, or on a monthly basis on the music that you create. If you have 100,000 fans and you're asking for $4, why not? $3, why not? We spend money on more frivolous things. And it takes a little discipline, and this is a reason why. So me as a consumer, recently I've been trying to get my finances order. Every now and then to see where I can cut and save it here and there. So I found out there were 3 companies that I was paying to monthly that I didn't even need. I wasn't even using. One of them was Lyfe. I moved. I didn't need Lyfe. It wasn't near me. And plus I have a gym on my property. So I really didn't need Lyfe. Retro Fitness. Great gym. It's cool. Especially the one I was going to in Brooklyn. And I called them and they said, well, sir, you're going to have to mail in a letter. I'm like, wait a second, mail in a letter? Why do I have to mail in a letter? I set it up with you guys and it was 1, 2, 3 to get my membership with you guys. Now I have to snail mail to discontinue my service. How long is that going to take? So I procrastinated and I finally said, you know what? I'm not going to bother. And then I called 2 other companies, same thing. And they gave me this rigmarole that I would have to do something in order to discontinue the service. So I'm like, how long is this going to take? And it's funny how companies can it'll take 1, 2, 3 for them to take your money, but it's never 1, 2, 3 for them to discontinue the membership, to stop from them taking your money. It's crazy. So I finally got a new credit card, my ATM debit card with a whole new number of accounts, switched it all together. And of course they called me and I said, I don't even really need you guys anymore. It's totally ridiculous. So I figured out that I was paying for all 3 of them. I'm spending like $80 something, a little bit over, around in that neighborhood. And I was like, okay, let me save it for something else. And sometimes I get caught up in that consumer loop where you either save it or spend it. But from a life point of view, from a music life, or from a dollarpower point of view with Lyfeblood, you can sit down. I suggest with a financial advisor, but you can sit down, figure out where you're spending too much on, where you can shave things off, and you can find out that you're spending money on things that you like. Why am I even spending this much money on things I'm not even using? See, me, I was spending like around $80. Other people spend $150, $175. So this goes to show that you do have money that you use towards Lyfeblood. So you could say either take that $150 and take half of it and save it, or the whole $150, whatever amount that you are overspending on for the month, and you could put it towards Lyfeblood as far as dollar power mantra. And if you know someone in your member network that's an inventor or musician or a whatever cause that's being pushed forward on lyfeblood.com, hey, now you have that disposable income that you're getting, where you can kind of disperse it to the people that you really care about, or that you're really behind as far as a cause or an invention that can benefit society. So you can do that through as a lifer, a regular, or when it comes to music and you really say you really appreciate Chris Brown and you wanted to give him $2, $3 instead of the music streaming way. Is music streaming going to go anywhere? It's not going to go anywhere. But this is one alternate solution where artists can get adequately compensated for the music and art that they put in countless hours for on a day-to-day basis, month-to-month basis, and they should get. And I'm excluding Chris Brown because, as I said, he is an exception to the rule. More for artists that are B-listers, C-listers, that has 500,000 listeners or streams or 1 million streams, like Saw Rock, like Selena Johnson. And then if they're touring and going about their business and they have a strong fan base of 100,000 people, and all you got to do is $2 a month. Sure, why not? Let me give it a try. And they can make that money even if they're only giving $3 for 6 months, 4 months. It's way better than what they would get if they were getting it from streaming services like Spotify. So that's a little bit about Music Life and pushing forward the brand and this feature for Lyfeblood. And we want to build that community. We want to build that music community and that lifer community that we know we can do better upon. There was this one tweet from Charlamagne the God. It's funny. He said in this tweet, social media has made it to where people are really not doing shit for themselves anymore. Everything is a performance and a showcase for others. And I totally agree with that. I think social media has gotten to the point where it's just the most crazy, out of control, over the top, slapstick performances or acts that people could do to get as much attention as they can, to get likes, to get shares, to get follows. And it's getting to the point where everyone is being court jesters. And my response to See the God on Twitter was, the problem is everyone wants to be quote unquote chosen. They want to be glorified consumers accepted by established brands to give them a check. And I want to also not just consumers, but also business owners, glorified business owners. But at the end of the day, all they're asking for is a check from an established brand. Unfortunately, you are right. The mentality of these folks is seriously misguided. We need less court jesters and more innovators, inventors, and business owners. And sadly, that's what social media has become. And we just have people flailing about, doing crazy things, exposing themselves. And hey, man, you do what you want. But at the end of the day, I think we kind of have to transcend these things that we're doing, these base acts that we're just like presenting ourselves to be to the world, and we can be more than that. And that's, again, I hate to plug Lyfeblood, but this is what it is all about. gcomradio being the mouthpiece for Lyfeblood, and we don't want to be court jesters. We want to push forward and seeing what society could do, how we can make society better by being inventors, by being innovators, by being business owners, or people of doing art or ballet or chefs or whatever. And hopefully when we develop that group economics network as lifers, we could fund each other so we can pursue our passions in life. A lot of times you see people that are great at what they do, but one thing that blocks people from kind of moving to that next level is finance. Bottom line is finance, and that's become a problem. How can we open the doors and make it more and make their dreams more accessible? And instead of going to the traditional means of going to banks or going to record labels or going to any one of these singular sources for cash, and then we get frustrated when we don't get it and we have to figure out how we're going to do it. I think the people, as far as buying power, the people have a lot more access than they realize if they just tune into it, if they just open themselves into it and look to each other. As I said before, we spend money on ridiculous things. And with Music Life is the example I used before. Sometimes we spend $150. We do have money. That extra $150 that we're throwing away, $75, $200, we can actually use that, and we can sit down, and as much energy that we are putting into Facebook and all these other social media platforms, I think it's time that we focus our energy towards things that can benefit us and it can move us forward as human beings. And that's what Lyfeblood wants to do. So we're going to get into the first song of the segment. The artist's name is Realright from Hagerstown, Maryland. His song is Lay You Down, featuring T-Rap. So we're going to get into this brother and listen to him. All right, check it out.
I'm about done with this cup. I think I might need a refill. We still go hard in the sheet 7 days about the week. We don't even use an e-pill. But it's funny how she's still ain't used to it yet. She can't even keep still. This ain't just a cheap thrill. Gas too expensive, but she drove in from Peekskill. And that's word to my mother. We could do without the drugs. We be high off each other. That's why we go another round and another round and another round and another. I could make it storm in the bedroom. I could make it rain under covers. It's the sweet words that I utter after taking shots. That's why she love it when I got that
drink in my system and I'm sipping on that Maybelline. This love is real, girl, I swear it ain't make-believe. I can tell you feel me, so baby, I'ma go and lay you down. Down, 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 down. Drink in my system and I'm sipping on that Maybelline. can call me 2 Chains. Run around my boo thing, and she's the finest thing in the town. We rollin', we vibin', I love it when she ride it. We rollin', we vibin', I love it when she ride it. We rollin', we ride it, I love the way she ride it for me. Yeah.
Ooh, a GCOM exclusive.
Love is real, girl, I swear it ain't make believe. I can tell you feel me, so baby, I'ma go and lay you down. Down, 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 down. Drinking my system, I'm sipping on that Maybelline. This love is real, girl, I swear it ain't make believe. I can tell you feel me, so baby, I'ma go and lay you down. Down, 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 down. Clutching your system, and I can tell you taking flight. We can do it anywhere and anytime, girl, how you like. And I can tell you feeling me, so baby, I'ma go.
I know you feeling me, cause I'm feeling you. But do me a favor, baby girl. Why don't you open up that bottle of Moscato? It'll make you feel good, but some bad things will follow. You might have to stay till tomorrow, cause the things I plan to do to you tonight under these covers, you gon' need a couple hours to relax, recover. Whipped cream, baby girl, I got you covered. And that's not something you wanna pass up. I like you face down with your ass up. This is not a good thing, turn bad luck. Or even a good dude starting to act up. This is how your good dude do bad stuff. Start the night right with some oil in the back rub. We can end it by sitting up in the bathtub. No towel, girl, so we can air dry. As we make sweet love under the clear sky. I know you feel a buzz and you near high. You got that.
I love them.
WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio.
Okay, we are back, man. We just heard Real Right from Hagerstown, Maryland. Lay You Down featuring T Rap. Yes. We like to mix it up with R&B, hip hop, but we definitely want to get into some world music as well. Whatever region that you're from and it's hot. And that's what we want to do, you know, just open up the musical landscape to a lot more, because this is a global platform. That's what Lyfeblood is about. And actually talking with LK, we're going to do like every Tuesday of the month, go into some world music, whether it's from South America, whether it's from the Middle East, you know, you name it, wherever it's from. So, okay, we're going to get into the next segment. And I know I just want to, I try to time this thing right, and I use my phone for it, because I just don't want to go on. I just want to do it within a 12-15 minute space. So, all right, so we're going to get into the next segment. What we got here? So the ultimate goal of Lyfeblood.com. The ultimate goal is to create this space, and I stay tuned in for it, because a lot of times we don't speak about it because we're on so many things, and GCOM is the mouthpiece for Lyfeblood.com. So our ultimate goal is to create that network, that group economics network. And as we build out, we also would like to create what I call life centers. And life centers, basically think of like a YMCA. So our life center would pretty much be having a teaching department, educating people on some job training, new skills for the 21st century, trade skills, and also having a physical a PE section to it. Not PE, like this is school or something like that, but having physical activities like basketball, none of the other things, because we also want to maintain our health, and also mental health section, a part of the Life Center. If anybody has any issues, mental issues, we want to help those people ourselves. As we know, there's a lot of folks, entertainers, that, you know, unfortunately have killed themselves because we don't know they've had, they were going through some mental issues and struggles. And we definitely want to make that a part of a Lyfe Center. So, we have a myriad of different programs we want to do also for business entrepreneurs, opening up space for small business owners that want to network with other people, and also having access to that program as far as dollarpower, where they can sign up and they can submit their information of what they are, what they're doing, if not online, also to come physically, just to be present. I think it's important to have that flesh and blood connection with people other than online, because I think that's a lot of times we get so caught up in social media and as far as communication that we want to make that our sole way of speaking with people. But we're human beings, we're flesh and blood, sentient animals, and I think it's important that we kind of press the flesh, talk with each other, being in our presence of one another and exchanging ideas. I think that's a lot more enriching than just solely keeping it on social media. And we want to spread the Lyfe Centers not just all through the city, but through the states, through the world, where we can get the innovators and inventors of each region, whether it's in pharmaceuticals, agriculture, biotechnology, all Internet of Things, and kind of taking the best of what human beings create, finding a way of having access to finance and putting it on the road, so to speak, and getting it going and scaling it up and making it available to people, and just connect the world in those sort of ways. We also, to the next stage, we have a new global governance model that we want to put forward, and I kind of named it Shengzi Tuanti. And excuse me if I'm not pronouncing it right as far as the language is concerned, but I wanted something that was represents on a global scale and invites other cultures, other races, and understanding that each human being on this planet has something to contribute to the global family. And it breaks down in a lot of different ways, a lot of the hierarchical structures. It doesn't really have politicians involved. They're more scientists, representatives of the particular circle for whatever discipline that they're in, whether it, as I said before, agriculture and politics and biotechnology and all these things that make up what a society needs to kind of push themselves forward. And each one will have a region, whether it's going to be in Africa, whether it's in China, whether it's in the United States, and each one of them are going to represent certain disciplines, and whatever the challenges that are presented to human beings, they can face that and kind of deal with it and work amongst each other and kind of delegate it to the representatives of that region, and then speak to a core set of people, a group in a group effort, and push forward whatever is needed for that particular region, whether we're dealing with famine, resource shortages, going to Mars, whatever the case may be, however we're going to do that. So it's kind of an amalgamation of a lot of different bodies today, whether it's NASA and the UN and the current system, because there are some good things about the United States political system that we exist in today. There are some great things on paper, but there's a lot of things that's mucking up the works here, as we already know, as far as the corporate control of the American political system. So we're trying to push forward this new global governance model that we can present, and another forum I would like to present that fully fleshed out and show you guys kind of like a whiteboard of how it's going to flow in a hierarchical system and everything of that nature. But just giving you a quick rundown of how we want to present this new global governance system. And I actually submitted this proposal to the Global Challenges Foundation, and it was a foundation that was created out of this billionaire from Sweden, I think. And he wanted it to have people submit what they would give, what they can create that can deal with the global challenges that we face today, like famine, resource shortages. I can't even get that word out. Resource shortages, and political strife, things of that nature. So I submitted that to the Global Challenges Foundation, and it didn't get picked. But I always felt like, you know what, once Lyfeblood gets to that certain level, that we can kind of implement some resources, financial resources, building out that model. Lyfeblood is not like Facebook. All right. A lot of times say, okay, you're creating another Facebook or another Instagram or another Reddit or whatever the case may be. It's not. What we want to do is create a space for people where they can go to, they can converse with others. And for those that are forward thinkers, they can be in spaces with other forward thinkers in whatever discipline that you're in, and say, okay, this is a great idea. I think it would be fantastic if we put it to the people. We would like to create what's the word I'm looking for? We like to create, I can't think of the word. A prototype. That's the word I'm looking for. Let's create a prototype. Let's create some kind of new, present it as a new way of thinking or a new way of operating, and then accessing the global group economics network, get the funding for it, and then put it forward. And for people to converse like that. Now, a lot of problems that Facebook deals with today is that Facebook is just a social media platform where they expect people to converse and do all those things that I mentioned before for Lyfeblood. But unfortunately, where a lot of social media companies want to do now, what they want to do is they just want to create better consumers, more efficient consumers. And they take your data and they compile it and they group it to present it to, let's be real, to advertisers, to other companies. And they that is one of their primary goals as being a social media behemoth. And the government recognizes that. That's why you have Mark Zuckerberg that's doing the hearings about how he influenced the elections and what information did they provide to certain other parties. And it was a very serious thing. And we may take it as a joke, but as far as the government concerned, that's something that they don't want to overlook or they don't want to downplay. Facebook is a huge global force, and they want to make sure that that outside quote unquote force doesn't do anything to negatively affect the direction where they want the country to go. And depending on how you look at that, that can be good, and that can also be bad. But yeah, we're not trying to make better consumers. What we're trying to do is create a space where we can take the best of society, go forward, and connect with each other and network, not just on a financial side, but also as human beings, and we could go forward and get the best out of each other as much as we can. How many know the inventions that we know, for people that really dig into the internet, that there were a lot of inventors in the 50s and the 20s and the 19th century that have created things that we thought was impossible and that can only be created today, but was actually thought of and invented 100 years prior. But it never got the push that it needed because it did not meet the what the people in power, it did not meet their interest. That could be said and explained in so many different ways. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to inject humanity back into our technology. And one of the things that people said is our technology is outpacing our humanity. And it is. There's so many things that we are inventing today that is barreling forward, that some say it's for the good of human beings and some say it isn't, like AI, like automation, like mechanization, all these things that are improving society, but the side effects of it is job loss, lack of training, industries falling apart, and I forgot globalization as well. All these things are causing our societies to fall apart. And our government and our politicians, our elected officials, are not dealing with it because, unfortunately, we have a political system that's been infiltrated by corporate powers. And these corporate powers want to maintain their dominance. And listen, business is business. In some ways, I don't have a problem with business. I'm a business owner myself. So at certain levels, I understand capitalism. But what the problem with capitalism and how these corporations are pushing into every aspect and space and corner and nook and cranny of our government is that they want to make sure that they maintain their profits. And life is not about maintaining or exponentializing profit. We're human beings. We were human beings way before the existence of an LLC or S Corp or C Corp. And I think that is one of the key issues of what is the problem in our society. So I don't want for Lyfeblood to be a better Facebook, all right, or an alternate Facebook. It's a space where if you feel that there are things that are not being met as a human being, as a citizen of not of this country, but also of the world, here's your opportunity to speak with people of like mind, to talk with folks and start to build the society that you want. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're pushing forward. What Lyfeblood is about pushing the best ideas for society and have it free flowing and creating a decentralized network of thoughts and concepts and inventions that can make sure that we survive into the next century and the next millennia. And right now we're stifling each other, and it's not technology that's stifling human progress. It's humans that are stifling human progress. And we have to change our mode of thought. We have to change how we deal with each other and transcend these obstacles that we are putting in our own way. So we have to think about that. Okay, we're going to get into our next song, y'all. We're going to get into bmoreben from Baltimore, Maryland. His song is called The Check. Check this out. All right.
bmoreben. That's how we doing, man. You know me, man.
listening to gcomradio.
Cash at the smoke. Yeah, the man my respect. The man my respect. Don't know what I go. Don't know what I go. Cash at the check. Cash at the check. Cash at the smoke. Yeah, the man my respect. The man my respect. That's why it's more than low. Cash at me now, my tag the same. Demand my respect. Demand my respect. Don't know where I go. Don't know where I go. Cash at the check. Cash at the check. Cash at the smoke. Yeah, demand my respect. Demand my respect. Don't know where I go. Don't know where I go. Cash at the check. Cash at the check. Cash at the smoke.
We just heard bmoreben, man, from Baltimore, Maryland. This song is called The Check. I love Baltimore. Been there. It's a great town, man. I was listening to this guy on IG again. His name is RashaunWilliams. He is an investor amongst many things, and he has some great ideas as far as what small business owners should do when it comes to getting the eye and ear of investors. And he said, first of all, you want to deal with your 3 F's. All right, you want to deal with your family, friends, and fools, as funny as that may sound, in order to build your business the way you want it to go from seed to Series A. All right, as far as Series A, it's a certain stage of investment, and that's when it comes to the big dollars. Series A, $1 million, millions of dollars that they give to you so you could get your business off the ground to kind of expand it. So one of the things that I had an issue with RashaunWilliams that I've met with a lot of course, he happens to be African American. A lot of things that I've kind of dealt with as far as RashaunWilliams and people like him, it sounds like, and all due respect to this brother, it just sounds like they're coming off with the same talking points as a lot of investors from Silicon Valley and wherever they come from. You pull up yourself by your bootstraps, you spend your own money, you work day and night, you kind of access your FFF circle, family, friends, and fools. And then once you scale up to the point where you have your customer base, you could start seeking out in angel investors and also venture capitalists. And that's great. That's fantastic. But one of my previous articles, I kind of mentioned how it's a flawed system, especially for PLCs. Do me a favor, just go back to my article. It's all in the chase. And I highlight some of the challenges that African American and POC small business entrepreneurs are dealing with as far as asking for money from investors, whether they're angel investors or venture capitalists, as opposed to their white counterparts. I'm going to be real. I can never leave race out. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are pretty standard across the board, but I cannot stand by and think that race never plays a factor in any aspect of our lives. This is the United States of America, man. It's racism and discrimination is woven into the fabric of this country. All right. So I always consider race as a deciding factor in whatever I do. It's in my taxes. It's when I throw out the garbage. It's in the air. All right. So let's keep it real. It's always something that's in the back of my mind. So I read this somewhere. I forgot. I'm sorry. I read an article somewhere where this one investor, he was I think he's a black guy, and he got money from his family, and it came out to like $1,500, and he was real excited, and he was ready to push forward with his business, and then he went to, I guess, a pitch forum or somewhere, and he was in a crowd of also business owners. And, I guess as the time went on, he just started to discover that his white counterparts, they were getting their FFF circle. Their monies was like $85,000, $100,000. He was like, dude, I thought my $1,500 was good. I was feeling good about my $1,500. I got to deal with people that's getting money for like $75,000, $80,000. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I was trying to explain it to him in as short as I could on IG. I try not to get too deep. And, he continued with his point, and I continued on mine. And then after a while, I was like, hey, man, thanks. I'll keep listening. I'll keep checking your posts out. But at the end of the day, there's an imbalance as far as when it comes to POC, small business owners and their white counterparts. And you also not only see it as small business owners, but also employees in Silicon Valley. And you can check it yourself. It's like, as far as in the employee ratio, when it comes to race, it's like 80% white men and 20% Asians. Of course, Asians meaning, Indian people, and also whether you're Chinese or Taiwanese or whatever the case may be. So you see that there's an imbalance there, and it's like small numbers for Black and Latino. So it's like the 800-pound elephant in the room. You can't avoid it. It's something that needs to be spoken about. And that's one of the things that we want to tackle. We have to figure out alternative ways. It's the same thing in all industries, in the movie industry. All right, with Halle Berry when she won her Oscar, when it came to Denzel winning his Oscar, when it came to Sidney Poitier winning his Oscar, and for every time a Black actor won an award, an Oscar, they've always made it a part of the narrative, the conversation. Oh man, this should blow open the doors. You're gonna see all types of Black actors coming in and really challenging their craft and putting their best work forward. And really, every time that it's happened, every time that conversation has happened, it never really took place. Now, yeah, you see a lot of different roles, diversified roles with African Americans now on TV, on radio, but still, when you compare the numbers, it's still not balanced. All right, there's still a small number of African American projects that are going forward with the same actors that are being used for each movie. So how well are we coming forward with having diversity in Hollywood? And not just pointing out Hollywood, but I'm also pointing out when it comes to African Americans in the tech sector. With Silicon Valley, with small business owners approaching angel investors and venture capitalists. There's small numbers. So how many times are we going to knock our heads on the wall with this? I think it comes a time where now we have to start seeking alternative means. What are those alternative means? Again, shameless plug. That's why I have to mention Lyfeblood. How are we going to deal with that? And I think a group economics network works. I think a P2P dollar sharing, it makes it great. And what Lyfeblood is basically, it's an advanced susu. And all my West Indian folks know what a susu is, right? For those that don't know what a susu is, basically it was something that my mother taught me, where whatever group of number of people that you're in, whether it's 5 people or 10 people, whatever the case may be, they all dedicate to a specific number to give in every check that they get, whether it's $200, $100, and they throw it into the pot, and it rotates through each person. So the first person will get that 200, they throw in a 200 pot, everybody throws it in and gives it to person A, and then the next cycle goes to person B, and then the next cycle goes to person C. And that's a way where we can kind of collectively put our money together and use it for whatever we need to use it. But you have to stay dedicated into the pool until the cycle continues, whether, like I said, 5 people or 10 people. So Lyfeblood is the same thing. It's kind of conceptually the same thing. You're putting your money in a pool and sharing it with, not just putting it in a pool, but sharing it with each other individually. And in terms of putting it into a pool, it's where you want to start a fund, whether a program that's needed in your community, whether it's a town, a county, a city, or even a country. All right, where you need to, you need new roads. You need set up a universal basic income. Yes, I said universal basic income. It can be utilized in many different ways, where it can go to the very needy, where people that are out of work for more than 6 months, people that, and it's funny, right? As part of my extended family is Jewish, and I've heard that in the Jewish community, Hasidic community, I don't know if it's just Hasidic community or outside of that, but when a certain Jewish family is having issues, financial issues, they could go to the synagogue and get money from the synagogue. So they can buy food, so they can pay for their lights, so they do all these different things. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty good idea. That's fantastic. How come, people can't do that themselves? Just put money towards something that the community needs, and you could give $100, you could give $50, or whatever the case may be, and by the end of the year or within a certain time frame, you can allocate those funds for the community. You don't have to wait for the government to do it. You can do it yourself. I mean, why? And, people march, and people, and I don't have a problem with marching. It's good that the government understands that the people themselves are on one page and they want this. But I don't think we should put all our eggs in one basket and expect it from the government. I think what people have to do is say, okay, look, we're going to march for this, say, for instance, universal health care. Let's say, for instance, right? And you march, and we go out there and we go to our elected officials in DC and for our state and for our city, and say, hey, we want this. And those, to me, those are long-term goals. But I think from seeing what's been happening for the last 5-10 years, I think we have to kind of diversify the ways where we can provide solutions for the people that need it, are in dire straits. And we should march for these things, for universal health care, but also I think it's necessary that people start to develop their own group economics circles and say, okay, for a region of 100,000 people, for a region of 8 million people, this is what we can do for ourselves in the short term, and also alternate long-term goals in order to give what the people need. And all the while, you can still march, you can still demand, you can still go to your elected officials and say, hey man, we need this. But I think it's time for us to start thinking locally for the community. I want to be my own version of Bill Gates. You know what I mean? Where it's not, it's great that Bill Gates does this thing, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Nick Woodman, he's the owner of GoPro, and Elon Musk, and I'm very inspired by what Elon Musk does. I'm a big fan of what Elon Musk does. But I want to be a CEO of not technology, but of humanity. I want to be a CEO not of machines, but how do we improve ourselves as human beings using the technology, utilizing the technology as a tool, not as a god. So, there's ways where I do GCOM. I want to be relatable to people. I don't want to be stiff and, in a nice sweater and jeans and walking back and forth on the stage talking about these are the new things we want to introduce for Apple. No disrespect to Steve Jobs. I love Steve Jobs or any other CEOs. I just have a different way of doing it. And if I could do it through music and through love and through inspiration, that's how I want to do it, that's how I want to connect with people. I don't want to be some far off guy and then, be the mad scientist behind the curtain, you know what I mean? Or be hey man, I'm amongst the people. And as much as I'm a CEO, the reason why I'm a CEO, the reason why I'm the founder of Lyfeblood, because there were challenges that I've met as a citizen, a dude that was just trying to go about his life and push forward his idea. Those are the challenges that I met. I'm like, okay, how can I fix this? How can I? This is not it. I'm facing the same problem. No matter what I do, I'm facing the problem of finance. So how do I solve that issue? And the way I solve that issue is not through the traditional means of centralized financial networks, but now it's important that we kind of decentralize it and seek the value and the attention that we deserve amongst each other. And there's more financial power in the community, in the people, than expecting it to, what we're expecting it from, like these other huge, global corporations. And, oh man, we're not getting that money. No, the power is in us. The way these companies became who they are, right? These companies became who they are because we gave them the money to be these huge powerhouses. So who is the powerhouse? All right. Who is the power? That's why I said in my Twitter, I'm not in the business of making money. I'm in the business of self-actualization. Okay. I want you to realize your own power, and the person next to you has as much power as you do, only if you come together and say, hey man, wait a second. We are a powerhouse too. You know what I mean? So I don't want people to get discouraged and the wind taken out their sails And the only reason why this discouragement comes is because we keep on doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And it's not getting any better. As we see what's going on around us, it's not getting any better. So what do we do? What do we do to change that? All right. So let's not put all our eggs in one basket. So the power is within us. And as we look to each other, the answers can come. And the answers don't have to come 50 years from now when we're dealing with climate change. The answers can come right here. The answers can come in 5 years, in 10 years. All right. As long as we focus on the solutions, as long as we focus on how we kind of jumpstart to get those solutions on the ground, if we look to each other. So anyway, I flipped out enough. And we're going to go into the last song. Is Hustle Gwop from Greenville, North Carolina. And his song is called Sunny Grindin. So it's Hustle Gwop from Greenville, North Carolina, Sunny Grindin. Check this out, y'all.
Out here grinding, striving, trying to make a way. I swear, I got to feed the fam like every day. One hand washes the other. Do you peep that? You get it? Never let them know where the stash you sleep at. Out here grinding, trying to make a way. I swear, got to feed the fam like every day. One hand washes the other. Do you peep that? You get it? Never let them know where the stash you sleep at. For real.
Out here grinding, trying to make a way. Shit, a nigga owe me money, homie, gotta pay. You can't knock the hustle out. Dirty nickels on the track with Hustle Gwop. We break them down and we run the blocks. Shit, we sell them whole and we duck the cops. Never let them peep your stash, cause when their funds get low, niggas want that cash. Should we get rid of the whole bag? Break them down to the last gram, find a whole bag. Get a 4-way for a whole stack. 25 for an elbow and make 4 back. Then you quadruple the 4 stacks. To a 16 plus some more, that's a dub sack. Shoot, I used to cop niggas, but from now on, you can tell the plug and bring the dub back.
Out here grinding, striving, trying to make a way. I swear, I got to feed the fam like every day. One hand washes the other. Do you peep that? You get it? Never let them know where the stash you sleep at. Out here grinding, trying to make a way. I swear, got to feed the fam like every day. One hand washes the other. Do you peep that? You get it? Never let them know where the stash you sleep at. Every day's a new hustle for me. Gotta get it. I'm just trying to feed the kids and the family. If you ain't with the paper, get the fuck from around me. I hustle guap, nigga, I do it so casually. Yeah. Money on my mind, money on my mental. I gotta get it up, cause the cake essential. I swear. Cash rule everything around me. Everything. Cash rule everything around me. I'm from the city where niggas just love to hate. Talk behind your back and then smile up in your damn face. So I don't fuck with the lames. I'm something like Kobe, Jordan, LeBron James. How I'm crossing it up, getting to the racks. I'm never spitting fiction, I'm only speaking facts. Truth. Never let the left know what the right do. Never. For this cake, we can knuckle up and fight. Let's get it. Out here grinding, striving, trying to make a way. I swear, I got to feed the fam like every day. One hand washes the other. Do you peep that? You get it? Never let them know where the stash you sleep at. For real. Out here grinding, trying to make a way. I swear, got to feed the fam like every day. One hand washes the other. Do you peep that? You get it? Never let them know where the stash you sleep at. For real.
This is gcomradio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a Lyfer. Practice dollarpower and build financial independence.
Okay, so we just heard Hustle Gwop from Greenville, North Carolina, Sunny Grindin. So I just want to this is like, just getting out of here. I appreciate you guys listening to me. The end of the year, 2018, my birthday is around the corner. It's coming. So these things I always think about as far as personally, professionally, where I've been in 2018 and what I'm going through in 2019. I spoke a lot about Lyfeblood and Music Life. That's what kind of just streamed off the top of my head. But I hope that your guys' New Year's are great. Accept your successes, or be open to your successes of 2018, and also be open to your failures, man, because your failures lead into your successes if you're listening. I'd like to shout out LK Mason. Happy birthday to you, lady. Best of wishes on your day. Live it up. Embrace everything that has happened in your past, because it makes you who you are for your birthday up to this moment. I forgot the day. I think it's the 19th. But yeah, happy birthday, lady. Yeah, and GCOM Radio, this is our last show of 2018. So you're not going to hear from us again until January 8th or the following week. So, yeah, man. So, we just wrapping up for 2018. We're just going to write it out. We got some things that's coming up in 2019 that I want to share with y'all. I couldn't share with you because I wanted LK's words on it. But, yeah, we're going to go into 2019 with some great subject matter. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on with Lyfeblood.com, Music Life, the new things that we're trying to get to the folks. And, of course, Sin of the Brave. So all shout outs to, hip hop, man. It's a global force. And that's what's up. So we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for sticking in and listening to me. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year to you guys, and going into 2019. Wish you all the best in your health, in your professional life, and in your personal life. Let's make 2019 a big year. Big ups, y'all. Thank you for listening. We out.
It's WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community. On the next go round, from right here to your town.
Y'all already know.
We out.